You are listening to Sky and Fall 2, Blue Twilight, by Jesper Ersgård, narrated by John Chancer. Part 1. The Awakening. S4 Military Base for Weapons Tests, Nevada, USA. Commonly known as Area 51. The alarm was loud, shrill, and persistent. It echoed across the desert in the still evening and must have been heard several kilometers away. Inside the military base, the sound was deafening. It took a full 7 minutes before the well-drilled staff managed to turn off the alarm. But the silence that spread afterwards felt, strangely, even more unpleasant, as if the threat that had triggered the alarm was upon them, and the chance to escape was gone. Dr. Victor Almeida stepped into the control room and noticed to his surprise that his hands were shaking. He was 63 years old and had worked at military base S4 for almost 20 years. The top-secret American facility was used for the development of new weapons and secret research projects. In the mainstream, the place was known as Area 51, after the name the area had on official maps. It was one of the most mythical places in the world. The secrecy surrounding the area had led to countless TV series, movies, and conspiracy theories, each more imaginative than the other. Almeida was accustomed to strict rules to keep outsiders away, and it was not uncommon for alarms to sound over the military base. Unauthorized, curious people often set off the motion detectors, and the increasingly common non-military drones that regularly flew over forbidden areas triggered warning signals. Additionally, the fire alarm went off a couple of times per year when smoke suddenly developed in one of the base's test rooms. But this was no ordinary alarm. Victor Almeida had never heard it go off before, not once during his 20 years at the base. It was an alarm that was only triggered by extreme danger, or by an imminent enemy attack, a deadly threat to the base and its staff. Almeida's first thought was that terrorists had struck. If you were an American who had experienced 9/11, you always thought of a terrorist attack in a situation of unexpected crisis. He had been sitting in the mess room, eating his dinner as usual, when he heard the shockingly loud signal. Instinctively, he had rushed from the table and off to the bomb shelters, along with everyone else. The staff at the military base were perfectly drilled, and no one shouted, no one panicked, but the fear and anxiety were palpable. On his way to the shelters, he had been stopped by 2 nervous military police officers. They had demanded that he accompany them to the large control facility in the main building, which was located at the center of the base. They needed Almeida's immediate assistance. They both calmed and worried him. So it wasn't a terrorist attack. But if it wasn't a terrorist attack, what had triggered the alarm? And why did they want his help? Victor Almeida was an engineer and a scientist, and one of the few civilians on the base. He worked for the Air Force to develop faster and stronger craft that could go unnoticed into enemy territory. He had a doctorate in materials science and chemistry from MIT University. He was not a soldier, and he knew nothing about threats or security issues. Why did they want his help? What had happened? Inside the control room, he was greeted by Major Teresa Hendricks, one of the few female officers on the base. She was only a few years younger than him, and was also of Latin American descent. He could see that they probably resembled each other. Both of them were slender and had dark graying hair and bright, attentive eyes. Although they looked similar in appearance, they were, in fact, very different. She was professional and calm, with obvious authority, but also stubborn and unimaginative. She preferred to solve problems with military intervention, and once she had
Sample complete. Ready to continue?